Hello everyone, welcome back to another special edition of the Instagram Live brought to you by the Authors Connect. This is an initiative, of course, by The Right Order, our publisher, as well as me, a podcaster by background, an author currently, and someone who's also a full-time entrepreneur running an all-woman human resources consulting company. Today we have a very special co-author who's going to be joining me very soon on this Insta Live. She's someone who's written a lot and dabbled a lot in the space of storytelling, and she has an expertise of sorts in enthralling people with the kind of stories that she spins for children, and that extends to their family, their parents, grandparents, and everyone else who gets involved and mesmerized in the wonderful world that she creates. For me, of course, as a lot of you know already, I am an author of a non-fiction book which is called The P4 Podcast and a beginner's guide to podcasting in India. And of course, my latest baby, my latest work, which is The World of Vishwakarma, which is a fiction series. And super happy to have a fellow author who's writing in the space for kids and children and finding out some fun, essential, perhaps a few scandalous revelations as well in the space that we're in, and presenting to you a very clear, real picture of what it means to be an author today in India and how does one navigate the space for sure. All right, so let me just add her in right now. I think she's just about joining us right now. Without delaying any further, just wanted to know how your evening is going. I know it's monsoons everywhere in India. Hope you're staying safe. Hope you're taking all the right precautions. And if you are, then I really hope you're enjoying your warm cup of coffee or tea or preferred beverage and having a great time, sometimes working from home, sometimes getting that extra 1 hour to spend with your children because everyone's home now together. So that's great. And we're looking forward to our fellow author joining us as well on this very special edition of the Insta Live, the Authors Connect, which is brought to you by The Right Order, as well as me, Bhargavi, podcaster of the People Who Matter podcast. So for all of you who have questions perhaps in this space for children's authors, who have kids of your own, do share some comments and questions in here. Some of you have already joined us, I can see that. So if you have some friends, if you have, your nephews and nieces, what kind of stories do they love? What kind of books are they, trying to? Yes, we have our fellow author on board. Hi, Mohana, how are you?
Hi, good. Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you. How are you?
Absolutely. I was waiting for you to come on board. All good. Thank you so much. I know you've had a long day, so have I, but it's really nice. We're taking out this time to do this Authors Connect for sure.
Thank you.
So, Mona, I just had a little bit of time to, talk about the space that I'm in generally, but why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and the kind of work that you've done in this space?
Yes, so my name is Darshini Siva Parmesh, Shala is Mohana Darshini. I would like to be called as Darshini because many people call me Darshini, and as a pen name, I have chosen Darshini Siva Parmesh as my name.
Got it.
And so I'm an author, mother of 2 kids, and then I'm a tutor. So, and I'm a storyteller too.
Wow.
Me, and this Mali and the Car Festival is my debut children's book, and it's going quite good. Yes.
Amazing. That's amazing. I think, of course, I know that you've had a life before becoming an author, and I know you were someone in the corporate space as well.
Yes.
Had a good, successful career, and then, of course, life cycle changes, and then, you decided to completely pivot and go in a different direction, right? So
Yes.
let's start with that as a question itself. Do you think a lot of the authors today are people who started out in a different career zone and then ended up finding their passion through writing? I mean, I can name so many people, whether it is a Chetan Bhagat or an Amish or so many more. They started in engineering or in banking and other things, and you and I as well, who started differently and then kind of ended up becoming authors and finding our passion there. So, what is your comment on that? How do you think the landscape is today?
See, as you told, it's right. We all chose up a career. Like we were like those days. No, it's all about engineering.
Right.
And once you finish either you get placed or you go on to some higher education. So
yeah.
that's how I completed my MBA, an MBA in finance and production. So I
Okay.
just wanted into the capital market because my specialization was in capital market. So I just started my career as a finance analyst, and had that at least I think 1.5 years of finance analyst kind of job. And once
Okay.
once I'm done with that, as you told, like I wasn't able to continue with that after my kids. So at that point of time, we just sit and think, okay, what do we like the most? What is our real passion? Something which would be inside us, and which would be trying to find its way to come out and shine, right? So when that was being searched, I found, okay, literature is one of my passion.
Yeah.
And literature, writing, I'm just so good at writing. So why not let us write? So when I thought I should write, what to write was my next question. And since I was dealing with kids in the form of tutoring, I thought, okay, and I love to read storybooks for kids. And I have seen people respond to the uh, way I tell stories. So why
Oh,
not start writing stories? That is how my journey of writing started. And I revived my passion through writing.
understood. Understood. No, that's fantastic. I mean, I think it's very important in life to find something which really makes you, like smile like a child again, right? Remember when we were kids and we had no worry and no bother in the world, and one toy, one game, one specific song or a dance, it made us just like go free and all out, and you'd only think of that all day, all night, even when you sleep, when you eat, everything. So I think for a lot of us, if we found our passion in life, at whatever stage or timeline in your life you found it, it's okay. But I think as long as you found your passion, please don't give up on it and do something about it, right?
Yes.
I mean, I can see the broad smile on your face, as you talk about your book and you're talking about, becoming an author.
Yes.
And that's wonderful. I think that's all that we really need for living a very fulfilling life, isn't it?
So we have, as mothers and all that, we have a very long day. So we need something uh, just to sit, relax. And that kind of relaxation is something that has to be productive. From my sense, when you relax, that has to be productive in that sense. So tutoring, as I told you, right, I'm so good at literature. So tutoring is one more passion of mine. And I'm so happy tutoring. I don't think I'm tutoring actually. I find a kind of relaxation in that. And the same goes for storytelling. So when I meet the kids, when I tell the story, when I get that kind of response from the kids, I feel really so happy. So the end of the session, I feel very happy, and that day ends. When I sleep, I'll think, okay, I've done something so great today.
Yeah, like such a good day, a day well spent, for sure.
Well spent.
No, that's amazing. That's really amazing. Yeah. So I remember we were discussing on what we should talk about, right, on this Insta Live, and we were like kind of like thinking, what is it that we've not already spoken about, and what is it that people don't already know? Yeah. And I think you brought up a very nice topic about storytelling, how it's present everywhere around us, right? Whether it's through myths or mythology or through fiction, or those stories that mothers or grandmothers tell to scare children also. It's like, like eat your food, otherwise that will come and catch you. In all regional languages, you have that version of the monster that will come and catch you, right?
Yes.
So whether it's that or so much more. So tell me that, like, any of that has inspired you while you were growing up? All this world of literature, mythology, just grandma stories that have been around.
Yes. See, I was born and brought up in a joint family where I had at least around 10 or 15 people in my home. My mother's family is a very huge joint family. I spend my weekends mostly. Nice. So there, of course, yes, I have so many party masters who used to tell stories. And this Malini book was such an inspiration. Every year I get to see the festival. I used to hear new stories from them. How the ritual starts, and how do they bring that deity outside of the
chariot and the deity. Yeah.
1 week ritual, they used to perform. And I still remember one night, there'd be so loud sound that everybody used to sleep. Me and my grandma used to sit for the sound. And she used to tell story about that sound, why that sound happens and all that. So as you told, this book was completely an inspiration from that story that I have been hearing for so many years since my childhood days. And of course, yes, I have portrayed some carnival rides and all that. I still remember it used to come during the months of March or April, where we have the annual exams. So nice. What I used to do is I used to rush finishing my studies so quickly. Yeah, 8 o'clock sharp, I just pick some of one of my relatives or the other. I used to get into that carnival. I don't go for a ride, but I go
Yeah.
to eat every shop and see what was there. So you can see that shops being put in. So
Yeah.
this book, as you told, it's complete inspiration for what I've seen and what I've heard and what I've experienced from my inner self.
From your own childhood. Yeah, of course.
Childhood. I still, from my third standard or fourth standard, I think I've never missed any of my
Carnivals and festivals.
till now. One year I missed because I was in US after my marriage, so I couldn't come for that. That was the only year I've missed in all my life. Other than that, there during all those March and April during the festival, I make sure I should be there. I also make sure my kids should experience that.
Absolutely. What a wonderful initiative, right? Like what you enjoyed in your childhood, you're passing it on as a legacy to your children, and you're sharing it with so many other kids who did not enjoy that or don't know about it through your book,
Yes.
Which is amazing.
Yes.
That I think is like a very nice utilization of a memory of your childhood, a happy place of your childhood, and packaging it in such a way that others can see it too. That's so amazing.
Yes, of course.
So even for me, I think it was very similar with the journey of the world of Vishwakarma. It's my first fiction series. It's the first time writing in the space of, I call it more like a family series than a children's series. Because I remember when the Harry Potter mania came out, I also read it. My mother also read it. My grandfather also read it. So that's why I call these books as the family series. I never limit it to like children's series or kids series at all. So Vishwakarma is in the same space, and this kid is around like 12 years of age. He's trying to first time discover independence and do things his way. And he's a shy kid. He's introverted, which is very different from me. So actually, the whole world of Vishwakarma, which I have created, it's based on people around me, not me. The story has nothing to do with me or my personality or even my childhood experiences. The story is more to do with the people I have observed who are very, very close to my heart. And if they were in this character's mind, and if they were in this character's shoes, how will they react and how are they, going about it? Because I always feel I'm supposed to be more like an extroverted person. So I feel very confident and easy to talk to people and interact and put my point across, and that comes very naturally to me. But I've seen that struggle a lot even within my near and dear ones. So they are so introverted, and that's my cuckoo clock. Sorry about that. It's the time being close to 7. It's a nice childhood edition. Reminds you of childhood home and everything else. But like I said, so it's very interesting for when I wrote the book, it's very interesting for me to write opposites. Like if I was in their shoes, if I was an introverted person, if I was somebody who was very fanatic about science, how would I then think, and how does my character think? And that was the challenge and the fun part for me to write it. But Vishwakarma, as we know in Hindu mythology, is the greatest of builders, greatest of inventors, and the gods themselves bestowed that boon on Vishwakarma as such. So this character's namesake, of course, is named after Vishwakarma, but there are a lot of similarities between the original Vishwakarma that I have heard of growing up when I was a kid, and my party would tell me, or my tata would tell me, that is my grandparents telling me stories. So at that time, what I had experienced is what literally came out as a story, and which I've of course adapted for today's generation, today's children, their taste. I'm sure the same way you must have done. So that was a very interesting kind of dichotomy. Like I could write as a different person is what I enjoyed a lot. I feel writing about someone who's very similar to me is very boring in my head. My head, because I feel that people who are generally very confident and extroverted, I feel they have to try lesser. So the challenges sometimes, in my own opinion, because of my life, I feel they're a little lesser than people who are introverted. So I find the mind of an introvert and the mind of someone who's very shy and very, secluded and cut off, very, very interesting. And that's why I thought I'd base my character like that. So how about you? Your title character, what is the backstory?
When you talked about this, I remember one of the novels I read recently, Verity. Have you read the novel Verity?
Verity? No, I haven't. It's in my list.
Okay. Just give a try, but this is, I won't, but you should really read that. See, for first few pages, it will be literally boring. You'll think, what is this? It's completely repetitive. But I should tell, after a few chapters at the end, whatever you said, no, that girl, she's an author. The protagonist is an author there. And she would put herself into the shoes of a person who's just opposite to her.
Oh, wow.
Just opposite. how would
Nice.
the person speaks
Person.
very, yes, she'll think, what will that verity think, what will that verity
Mm.
think? That's how she would have written the book, and
Entire
that
book. Wow.
actually. And finally it would be discovered like she's not that kind of character, she's completely a different person.
Different person.
So when you were talking about all that, that book
Very
just
true.
the most wonderful books, but initially you'll feel very bored. I thought of just keeping the book aside at one point of time, which is
Oh
so
gosh, yeah.
that. But I just wanted to give it a try, and final few chapters just blew off my mind. You know?
Oh,
Yeah.
wonderful. Actually, talking about books like that, which are very hard to start and make you want to give up, but people have talked so much about it. You know, the hype is so much. You're like, I have to finish this. I remember in school, we had Wuthering Heights as one
Okay.
of the must reads. You know, it's like a list of you must read this book. I
Okay.
can't tell you, Darshini, I cried to read that book till I came to that level of understanding Heathcliff as a character
Okay.
and his relationship, you know, with the protagonist. And then I was in love. I'm like, my God, this is real love. Oh my God, this is like mature love. This is what it's supposed to be. This is passion. Till then, I was like, why am I being tortured? Why is this in my must read? And what is so great about this Bronte sisters and why have they written this thing called Wuthering Heights? So I corrected myself that day. Then that's when I realized never judge a book by its initial chapters, not even cover. The initial
Very correct.
chapters, don't judge it
Yes,
by that.
one more non-fiction
Mm-hmm.
that I recently was uh, Not Giving a Fuck. You have read?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
so initial chapters were completely opposite to what I used to think, because I'm a
Ah.
pakka self-help positive kind of books person. That book was completely opposite to what have been preached by all the self-help gurus. So
Yeah.
initially I thought, okay, this is not working for me, because I just have to keep that aside every morning. See, I'm a person who used to read a positive book. I kickstart my day with a positive book, at
Okay.
least 1 page or 2 pages with a cup of
Okay.
coffee. That is, I start my day. So when I started reading this book, I was thinking, okay, this day, I used to feel, okay, today didn't go well because of this book. This book is completely what we have collected so far is just completely opposite. That's how I just thought. But after a
As,
few chapters, whatever the author has written is completely right.
mm,
How I felt. Maybe it's because I have been used to that kind of reading for a few chapters, or
yeah. Yeah.
don't know if it's because of that, or he has completely thrown light into practicality.
Mm.
So is it
I think sometimes we have this reader's bias as well. No, you approach a topic or a subject, even for example, a book like a children's adventure book or a children's book like what you've written or what I've written. I think a lot of times we go with a preconceived notion because we've read hundreds of books like this. It's not like it's a brand new genre. You and I have discovered it, and we're innovating and we're putting it up. So when somebody approaches a new book, that is my biggest fear as an author. But my biggest, what do I say, finding as a reader. So as a reader, I like to find out how different is this book in this genre compared to something else. Or even books written by the same authors, I often find myself trying to compare and seeing, oh, but is this sounding like that book where they wrote this line? For example, I read a lot of Murakami, and this is the whole Murakami phase that I had. Okay,
Okay.
it's just during the pandemic,
Okay.
and back to back, I was reading like all the Murakami books, and I was thinking, I'm like, the style of writing is very similar in all the books, but there's something new to discover in every book. And it took me like 2 readings to actually understand the book. I have to be honest here.
Yes.
I could not get the book in the first instant. Maybe mentally I was not in that space. Like in life, I was not in that place where I could be so deep and absorb all that material.
Okay.
So I think sometimes we all have reader's bias.
Okay.
Where we come preconceived think this is a children's book. It must have some fun elements. Has to have happy characters, no gray characters. Everything has to be happy and beautiful in this. And then when you come across, something which is totally opposite to your imagination in the book, for a minute you're stunned.
Okay.
And then you think, is this a good thing or a bad thing? Like I like this change or I don't like it. And that is make or break point, I think, for a book, which is a true challenge of like writing. At least for me, that's what it was. I tried to make a lot of like innovations in this book, like the kid here, Vishwakarma, he time travels back in history.
Okay.
And he, goes to a very significant period in Indian history. The age of kings and the Mauryan period is where he goes. And he meets legendary characters like Chanakya and others. And for me to reimagine that scene of Chanakya meeting this kid and, like how might that play out?
Okay.
And how can I make it very palatable for my reader? Like it has to be believable. At the end of the day, it's fiction. But I have to make it believable that this is possible. It could have happened. and somebody
Okay.
could have done this and had this interaction.
Okay.
So for me, that was a very, like, very nervous. I got all my writer's block during those situations, those plot points. And I was like, okay, leave the book alone for at least a week or two, come back to it. Really debated with myself because I couldn't share the plot out with too many people. So it was very, I felt writing for me was a very lonely journey. Not that I'm complaining, but I felt that I couldn't share about the book to others till I completed the whole story, because they won't understand. Like, they won't get it till I tell you the whole thing. If I just give you the highlights, you might start immediately making comparisons in your mind with other books you've read. So till I could finish the whole story, I knew, because I'm an avid reader too. So I knew it was different and nothing like any other book people would have read before. So I could confidently now say that, hey, the world of Vishwakarma has nothing to do with anything you've read before, whether it's time travel or science or fiction or whatever. But before that, I couldn't share about the book. So I could talk about the areas I got stuck in, or the areas I found like breakthroughs. So that was really hard for me. What about you? How was your writing journey?
You're asking about this book?
Yeah, this specific book, yes.
Book, the script was written on one night, just one night. I just completed the script with one night. And I just gave this script to a few of my close aides, and they put me a few corrections. Like, see, initially they said we are not able to connect to it because they don't know about this car festival. They absolutely don't know what is a car festival is all about. So they said we are not able to connect completely to it. So then I made few corrections and all that. Initially, I wrote in detail about the car festival.
Yeah.
So I was
like, it's very descriptive. Yeah. Down to the last detail.
The chariot, the decorations. Then I felt, okay, maybe this is not getting a connect to the people who read. So I have to put myself into the shoes of the readers, especially children. And then I have to start writing. So then, okay, I thought this Malini, I should think from the point of view of Malini, how was she enjoying and all that. So that was a hit, I should say. So all the close aids, and the illustrator, I should tell, she has done a beautiful job. Whatever I had imagined, she has brought that into as a pictures. So that is something in which I have to give credit to her. Not many corrections, because she was also from that nearby place. So she should have witnessed the car festival and all the carnival rides and shops and all that. So she just brought life to my writing, I should say. Wonderful. Through her. So if 50% is my writings, 50% I should give credit to the illustrator who has done this book. She has done a wonderful job. She has just given her soul to this book. Each and every details, I should say. Each and every details, especially the elephant part, took a long time. Because I wanted the elephant to be with all the ornaments and myriad paintings and all that. Initially, she just drew a temple elephant, but then okay, these are the things that I like to have with and the elephant's part, and she just gave whatever I asked for. So the illustrations have
fantastic.
Really got in line with my writing, I should say.
Amazing. No, I agree, because I think the publishers that we're working with, I think it's a good time to talk about the publisher today. Through which we have connected and come together. The Right Order team, in terms of, I think, the kind of illustrators they have on roll. Your book, of course, is a lot more detailed in terms of illustration, because in between the chapters and the points, you have illustrations inside the story. For me, illustration was mainly on the cover. The cover page was like make or break for me, because it's a fiction series. Like, I'm not writing one book, I'm going to write 4. So I needed people to start recognizing that this is the color theme and this is what the story could be, and start throwing little clues in the cover of the book. So people start identifying that, okay, this is what the author is trying to say. So for me, the cover, just getting the illustration part done, I think it took nearly 3 weeks. After the manuscript was submitted, after the editing of the entire manuscript was done, we spent nearly 2-3 weeks just on the cover. Just that one thing. That's it. And there were a lot of back and forth. I sent a lot of reference images, and they came back with their ideas. And finally, the way they, beautifully presented it, I was really bold. I mean, I think half the success of the book being, on its way becoming a bestseller, I think is that a lot of people who've gone to the store or seen it on Amazon have loved the illustration of the cover. And then probably then they turned the book and read what is the book about, the summary of the book, and then maybe about the author, and then decided to spend their money and pick up the book. So absolutely, all thanks to the illustration team at the Right Order. I think they were really good. But how did you get connected with Right Order, Darshini?
So just like that, I was browsing and I was sending my synopsis and all that to the publishers, and I just came across with the this right order. And after post publications part was very good. Especially I should name Arpit. Arpit
Yeah.
was connect for me. He helped me a lot. We used to discuss a lot.
Yeah.
We used to discuss apart from the book. We thought of writing a book together because he was also in the finance line and I was also in the finance. We are thinking, okay, we should write a book someday and all that. And after every storytelling session of mine, I used to check with him, okay, how many books have been sold, and he used to give me the data and all that. So we were working very closely. Like he has been a very huge support. Even with the printing part, the writer has done. I have helped him find the printers and all that. So we have a very good rapport. With the right order, especially, I have a good rapport. So that is how, but the illustrations part is completely, I got an illustrator from my,
Okay.
so the illustrations part is completely, but post publication support that what the writer has given me till now, it's something so great.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, that's true. That's true. I think I have a very similar story, just
Okay.
slight difference. I connected with the right order team because the founder at that point of time, Niket, who's currently moved on,
Okay.
him and I have common contacts. So we kind of met up and then generally talking about what's going on, what do you do? And I was talking more about my corporate and entrepreneurial stint. And then I realized, oh my God, this guy's a publisher and I'm already sending my manuscript to so many publishers. Why not just tell him that I am publishing? You know, like I'm looking for a publisher.
Okay.
And he was like, oh my God, tell me your story and everything. So this was actually not the current book we're discussing today, Vishwakarma, but my very first book was on podcasting.
Okay.
I also happen to be a successful business podcast show host in India. It's called People Who Matter. And I was looking constantly for information online. Like Google was my only help to find out how to start a podcast in India. I'm talking about 2018, before Spotify was bigger, Anchor did not even exist. None of the platforms like Ghana, JioSaavn, none of them had anything to do with podcasts. It was only Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Spotify had just started podcast entries in India. And at that time, every information I got was only on the US or a UK site or an Ireland site or a German site. And there was nothing with the context of India.
Okay.
Like there was not even like in Indian rupees, how much would something cost, right? There was nothing specific about the kind of mics podcasters in India are using and stuff like that. Or how lengthy should be a podcast series in India. How do I make money out of a podcast and things like that. So when I started my journey, it was more like a brand promotion of my company. It was like a brand extension.
Okay.
And because mine is a consulting all-woman HR company.
Okay.
So we were trying to do like consulting work. And we wanted to, get a brand presence out there. That the podcast in our company kind of becomes synonymous for each other and becomes a lead generator for us as well. So when I successfully finished, I think 3 years of podcasting, that's when I met Niket. And he was like bored over with the idea of a podcast group because there's nothing in India then. So we're like, let's do this. We'll be the first and let's like go ahead with this in the market. So my first association was actually non-fiction, not fiction. And once that book became a bestseller on Amazon, we sold during COVID. So there was no offline sales, only online. We sold completely on online. And at that time, India, everybody wanted to be a content creator. Like during COVID, you remember YouTube videos, WhatsApp videos, podcasting. People went crazy. I mean, there was like nothing to do. We were all making Dalgona coffees at home and God knows what else. So, all those trends and reels which are happening. So I think that's when the requirement for a book like this was really good, like the right timing to drop it, and people picked it up and it became a bestseller. So when I wanted to write my second book, it was a no-brainer. I was like, hey guys, I have this story. Before I go somewhere else, would you like to work on this? And they were like, of course, this is great, and we've had such a great experience. So for me, that challenge of shifting from non-fiction to fiction was something. Like I was very aware that it's a different genre. And this is just my second book. It's not like I'm some experienced author with like a great portfolio of work in books. So I was very aware of that challenge. But like you, I'm a student of literature. I love writing and creative writing and creating different pieces from before. So I think that really helped me to kind of constantly shift gear. Like when I was writing nonfiction, I was focusing on it like a businesswoman and more from how do you get the best value out of this. When I was writing fiction, I was focusing more from how do you get the best adventure, experience, memories and thrills and moments that I can create for you. So that was, I think, the gear shift that I had to do. But how about you? How was your journey of writing fiction as such? Like in general, are you a big fiction reader or a non-fiction reader?
No, I'm a big non-fiction reader. I'm not a big fiction reader. I'm a non-fiction reader. See, as I told you, morning starts with a non-fiction and ends with a fiction. So before I go, for the sake of sleeping, I used to read few pages in the novel. That's it. It's not that I have to read and all that, but morning I have to kickstart my day with with the book, and that is completely a non-fiction, which is a self-help book, which started like way back around. It's almost 10 years. Wherever I go, no, I used to have a non-fiction. People used to look at me like that. Why this girl carries always a non-fiction? Why does she read a so, but everywhere, even when I go for a vacation and all that, there will be a non-fiction in my bag. And even my elder one, she's an avid reader like me, and she used to ask me, "See, I've seen you all the time reading only non-fiction."
Yeah.
But because I used to read fiction after she sleeps, right? So she hasn't seen me reading fiction as. So I haven't seen reading any novels. But when you ask me to read, you always suggest. Ruskin Bond, Enid Blyton, and all that. They are all fictional writers and all. I said, see, I'm a fictional writer because I've written a book. I'm a children's book author. It's a complete fiction and not a non-fiction. But still, I love reading non-fiction. So fiction, yes, of course, as I told you before, I go to sleep or when I really want to relax, I used to take up fiction. But non-fiction is my oat always. So because as I told you, I start my day with a non-fiction book. So non-fiction is something. Get so much of insights from a non-fiction book. As I told you, right, during my management studies, we had a class, like we had a part where we have to just dissect whatever we read. And that is a non-fiction, basically. So we are not given with a fiction to dissect. We are given with a non-fiction book to dissect. So that is how the love towards non-fiction just came in.
True.
So this is how I started. And I haven't find many of Indian authors getting into non-fiction. I've seen people writing fiction stories, but non-fiction with Indian authors is very, very limited. And the same goes with children's books also. I've a huge authors writing novels, but with children's books, it's very limited. Indian authors, basically. We all live in one countries for the children's books, right? I have posting so many pre-loved books for my kids. But what I found out is I just couldn't connect with those books. Everything is Western. See, the pictures are Western. The way they talk is Western. Even the names are Western.
Yeah.
They're not Indian names, right? The names are Western. So when I read those books to my kids or to my to the kids whom I tutor, I could see a sense of a little dissatisfaction that they couldn't connect to the book. So that's how when I started writing the children's book, I thought it has to be completely Indian. From the pictures to the names to the way, because these kids are able to connect to the Indian books rather than books. So when you say my vote is always for non-fiction, but when I need to write, from the reader's point of view, I'll go for fiction. Yes.
That's nice. That's really nice. It's very interesting because I see the commonality in both of us, which is rare, I feel.
Okay.
That you like something and you're writing something totally different.
Yes.
Because it's probably easier to think for you from that point of view.
Yes.
When you're writing. So for me, it's like when I was writing my non-fiction at that time, I kept myself away from all other non-fiction books because I didn't want to imitate the style of any other author.
Okay.
So I was reading only fiction when I was writing non-fiction. So by night I'll be writing, and then in the daytime or whenever I get time in between work or weekends, I would be reading fiction.
Okay.
So I'm like, there's a total disconnect in my head. I should not sound like someone else. Very, very important.
Okay.
When I was writing fiction, I was completely in business books. I was like reading all kinds of business books. And of course, the research I did for the book was different. The historical research I did. I watched a lot of documentaries. I watched a lot of archaeological survey of India studies. And lots of old Doordarshan shows about excavations, Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, and all that. Like, those shows which you'd watch as a kid in DD. I got to see all of them again on YouTube again. So I was like, trying to take in all that and felt this huge smile on my face. Oh my God, it's like reliving my childhood. But I kept myself away and kept myself in opposite kind of genres when I was writing a genre, because I was like, my style, I have to be careful, so careful not to sound like anybody else. Because it's so easy. The more you read, sometimes it's so easy to slip into that style of that person, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Even initially, even novels, when I started reading, I never used to go beyond the Sidney Sheldon. It's one day Sidney Sheldon. I've read all the novels, all the Sidney Sheldon novels. I'm done novels. And when I started reading other authors' novels, I was not able to continue reading. I was like, I'm not finding Sidney Sheldon anywhere here, is what I felt. And when Tilly Batshaw is the person who carried on with Sidney Sheldon.
Yeah.
So when I read that book, I was not satisfied at all.
You're like, this is not Sidney Sheldon. It's not what I know. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I was like. So I just then I felt, okay, we are getting more into a person, which I felt is not right. have to explore.
Yeah.
So that is how I just my site. Okay, we'll just leave. I have all the City Children collections. I've read everything. I'm not.
Yeah.
What I started doing is I started rereading.
Rereading them just to feel happy again because you can't find the satisfaction outside.
Book. Then I felt okay, we have to just explore. And
Yeah.
recently I started exploring many Indian authors. I'm a huge fan of thrillers. I'm not a
Yeah.
I don't get into that romance genre and all that. I'm a pakka thriller kind of even
Fangirl. Okay.
yes, even movies. I love thriller movies. When it's fiction, I love thriller fictions. So I was just Novonil. One another person like Sidney Sheldon. I'm an ardent fan of Novonil. I have read all his books. So right now I'm just okay. Just we should keep off Novonil aside and we should just explore other authors. So
Yeah.
I started exploring other authors, and that is how I came across this Verity.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
Nice. I think this is the right time for us, Darshini, to probably show the viewers, all the audiences of our Insta Live, our books. Let them see
Sure.
what we're talking about from that time.
Yes.
And then we can probably, if you want to read a passage from your book, I'll read a passage from my book. I'm not sure if we have enough time to probably impersonate and do the whole performance session from my end, but please go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead with the story the way you want. But yeah, let's go ahead and share how our books look. So
Yes.
this is how mine looks. This is called The World of Vishwakarma.
Okay.
And like I said, this is Wish, our title character. He's just grazing into the horizon,
Okay.
which is this. And this sky, you can't say whether it's day or night or what's going on. You can see a peacock feather here, which kind of gives a clue into the era and the dynasty he's
Okay.
going to go back in history in. And
Okay.
just the landscape and how everything is a little, he feels not lonely, but alone. Like it is where he is his own journey. It's a singular journey.
Okay.
That is the world of Vishwakarma. And this is the first book which says a hack into the past.
Okay.
So the series is going to be called The World of Vishwakarma, and each book will be called something different.
Okay.
So this is the book, The World of Vishwakarma. It's a book about adventure, science fiction, time travel, history.
Okay.
So there's something for everyone kind of book. And of course, a lot of relationships between parents and children, especially mother and son. Also about friends and friendships and arch nemesis in school.
Okay.
And basically a book of self-discovery at that age. So it can be read by anybody starting from the age of 8 to 108 if they're still around.
Okay.
So I think it's a family entertainer is what I would call it, a family series book. That's The World of Vishwakarma. I'd love to see more about yours.
Yes, and I should tell your book cover is really too good. We should not judge a book, but of course, yes, the book cover speaks a lot. When when any person who wants to buy a book judges the book only by its cover.
I'm telling you, 100%.
What has been written at the back, like what has been inside, right? So, yes, so the cover matters a lot. So the proverb goes that not judge a book by its cover, but yes, the book speaks a lot. The book cover speaks a lot about the book. So it's so important that your book cover is really too good.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.
It emanates a curiosity to see what is inside. So that kind of curiosity a book cover should bring, right? So what is inside? So we have seen a boy seeing something, a landscape, something colorful. The color itself speaks something else, kind of bluish and green and all that, right? So yes, your book cover is really too good.
That's so sweet. Thank you so much. All credit to my illustrators, and of course, it was a collaborative effort. Like I told you, it took 3 weeks to just make this cover. But I think it's worth it. 3 weeks was worth it, spending that much time.
Of course, yes.
So yes, please show us yours.
Yes. So this is my book. Hope it's clear.
So sweet. Yes.
Yes. So this is the girl, the protagonist, Malini, and she's looking at something with so much of surprise. And this is that chariot. And the chariot is the main part of the car festival, right? So we have not shown the chariot. It's half part of the chariot. And the girl is looking at it with so much of surprise in her eyes. So this is about the book. As I told you, it's my own experience. What I have seen, what I have experienced, what I have enjoyed, what I have been entertained through the car festival is being written as a story. But from the Malini's point of view, nothing in detail about the car festival or the chariot, because many reviews, few people just who do not know what a car festival is all about, they said we have gone into detail about the chariot. But if I understood that, then it will completely become a non-fiction and not a fiction. That's what. So that's why I limited it with this Malini and her experience. So that is what is completely about this book. So if you want, if you want to read a part of a page of your book, you just can go.
Sure, sure. No, I thought if you want to enact first,
Okay,
please
I'll
go
be
ahead with
enacting.
that. That would be
Yes,
amazing.
Bhargavi,
Please
we
go
will
ahead with
enact.
that.
Yes.
I still have to find which page to read. So please go ahead.
Yes.
Let's all listen to what you have to say.
Sure, sure. So shall I, Bhargavi?
Yes, please go ahead.
Yes. Can you see?
Yes. Yes, we
So
can.
this is the elephant. See, basically in the car festival, the elephant will be at the back,
Yeah.
pushing the chariot, and people will be pulling the chariot from front.
Correct.
Okay. So I'll just show you that picture also. See, this is the way people pull the chariot from front,
Correct.
and there's an elephant pushing the chariot from the back. So I'll just read a scene of that, and we both will enact if it's okay for you.
No, please go ahead and enact it because I think I'll skip out of this one. I did not see the passage clearly, so please, I don't want to spoil the enactment. Please, you should go ahead and enact.
Sure. Okay. So I'm going to be the elephant. Okay. And first I'm going to be the elephant, and I'm going to be the person who's going to pull the chariot.
Awesome.
So first, let me push the chariot because the elephant has to push the chariot only, then people can pull the chariot. So an elephant. Malini's brother shouted in excitement. So he's so happy seeing the elephant. He's just surprised to see the elephant in that car festival. And in that procession, he's really so happy to see the elephant because kids love elephants, right? So the elephant makes this sound. Brrr, grrr, brrr, grrr. So this is the sound the elephant makes, and the elephant is going to push the chariot from behind. Brrr, grrr, brrr, grrr. And the people are going to pull the chariot from the front. And when they pull the chariot, they should give out so much of right. They should give out so much of effort. So I'm going to make that sound. So I'm going to pull the chariot, okay? So this is the pushing and this is the pulling. So what we do in the story sessions, right? I'll be the elephant pushing the chariot, and the kids will be the people who are pulling the chariot. Initially, we without the sound, and then they'll do it with the sound. So it'll be fun enacting this scene mainly, actually. So that's it about this book. If you want, I can read a page.
Sure, please go ahead.
So many sounds, okay? We read pom pom pom. Ding 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 ding. Can you tell me what is this sound? Ding 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 ding. When we are
it's ice cream wala. Yes. Ice cream cut, right?
Which now, right? We have so many ice cream parlors around here.
Yeah, they won't know this. They won't know the sound. Correct.
Yes, the sound and all that. So amidst the din and noise, the tall, majestic, stunning, gorgeously decorated chariot glided its way through the vibrant street. And as I told you, so devotees are pulling the chariot joyfully from the front while the crowd milled around. So though they are putting so much of effort, you can never see the sadness or the sorrow or the dullness in their face. They'll be very happily pulling the chariot.
Correct. Enthusiasm. Yeah.
Yes, so much enthusiasm. So that is it. That is it about this part of this book, about the chariot procession, basically.
So beautiful. So nice. I think your storytelling is such a wonderful way to get kids involved, right? And even like I said, sometimes our books go beyond the children's age. It's like involving their grandparents and their parents.
As I told you, this book was a huge hit among the parents and grandparents.
Yeah.
We miss out. See, now we have all the theme parks.
Yeah.
But those days, no, only during those festivals right. So they say that we are missing that
atmosphere. Yeah.
Around you're not able to enjoy those days. That piece of time we have, so we enjoyed so much. Yes,
that's true. No, I think that was a big part of, say, our childhood and our parents' childhood and their parents' childhood. Today's kids have like online games and whatnot, right? I mean, their world is so full of so many distractions for them. Waiting for a car festival or a Thiruvaru Teru or Ter festival, that's something which is like a rarity. Like, what are you talking about? Like, what is so special about a chariot being pulled? But for us, we know what that means. We know what it means for that chariot to be pulled and people to come and 5-day festival and all that.
It's a 2-week ritual actually. It's a 2 week.
2 weeks. Amazing.
And as we told, we'll be waiting from the morning, no? Get to see the procession, right? So I used to dress up after my lunch. Nobody sees me, but so good, and everybody in the house used to dress up.
We should dress up. No, yeah, it's a special occasion. It's a family outing.
Yeah.
I remember even those days when we were going to a movie theater. Today you can wear sweatshirts and pajamas and go to the movie hall. Yes. But those days it was an event. Yes. You actually wore your best dress, your newest t-shirt or skirt or whatever, and you will go to the movie theater. Nobody's looking at you. But you feel so great from within, like, wow, we dressed up and we're going out. So I totally understand. That's amazing.
When something happens once in a while, you know, we give so much of importance. When it happens often, we lose that importance. That is what it basically.
Absolutely. So right. So absolutely rightly said. I'll just read a very small excerpt from my book as well, and then with that we can close for sure. Okay. Okay. So this is an event when the title character Vishwakarma has traveled back in time.
Okay.
And he's actually looking for. So he's been out in this space. He doesn't know the place. He doesn't understand what this area is. He's never seen landscape like this. He doesn't even understand the costume of people who he's landed up in. Basically, he's time traveled. So he has no clue. And there there's an empty village. He walks into a village in the night, and he's really searching for something or somebody, and he meets someone. Okay. So he meets another young boy. So this is the interaction, a very small interaction, which is funny for kids as well. And then the story continues. So I'll read the interesting interaction part. Okay. So the young boy was staring in disbelief, but the groaning of his stomach was getting louder by the minute. Vish realized that he had to gain the trust of the young boy, and he took the candy and ate it himself. So basically, Vishwakarma had carried some hard candy from the future, from his present. Okay. Some of these chocolates and something, and he was trying to offer it to this kid he found in the village to make friends with him.
Okay.
But the kid is not accepting the thing. He's like, what is this strange thing? Who's this strange person? Okay. So Vish, to get his trust, he's like, I'll eat it and show you it's okay. And Vish's stomach is groaning as well because he's hungry.
Okay.
Okay. He pushed the candy towards the young boy, who finally accepted and ate it. The minute the candy touched his tongue, there was a change of expression on the boy's face. Okay. He smiled and was enjoying the surprising taste. It was nothing like he tasted ever before, and he looked at Vish in shock and happiness. Vish realized that he had made progress and decided to use this as an opportunity to befriend the boy. The boy brought his hands to his mouth and then cupped them around his lips. He then rolled his tongue, blew back into the hands, and moved his fingers rhythmically. Immediately, a whistle or a catcall-like sound was heard. Ow! And within a few minutes, there were footsteps near the doorway. The doors to the hut opened and armed soldiers appeared. They came in, bound Vish, and placed him on the back of a horse. Everything happened within the speed of lightning, and Vish hardly had the time to make sense of what was going on. As he turned back, he saw the young boy ride a horse beside the soldier and smile at Vish as he ate another candy and felt pure happiness.
Okay. Very nice, actually.
So you want to know what happens next? I thought they were going to be friends, but he betrayed him. So what's happening there? So basically, it's a cliffhanger ending. So this is something. This is a small part of Vishwakarma, but it's a fun book, fun for a lot of people to read. So both Mohana's and both Darshini's and my books, it's available on Amazon. You all can please go ahead and search for our titles. Mine is called The World of Vishwakarma once again. The author is Bhargavi Swami, and that is Darshini's book, Malini and the Card Festival. And the author is her. And you can buy it not just in India. I'm sure even her book is available in many other countries. So it's 12 plus India. So the 13 countries were available on Amazon. That is US, Europe, South America, Australia, I think UAE as well. So these are the countries you can buy it in. And if you are someone who's a fan of old school, just like us, going into a bookstore, smelling the fresh book and then buying it, our books are also available in certain select offline stores as well, all across the country and in the states and the cities that we're living in. So yeah, that's about it from me. Darshini, what do you want to say as a parting note?
About this book, yes, as I told you, this is one book which will take you back to those days, a nostalgic feeling. You'll obviously have a nostalgic feeling after you keep this book aside, and for sure the kids will come back and ask you to read this book again and as I got the feedbacks from parents that they want to see the festival through this book. So that is the kind of book, and the age group is from 2 years you can start reading, and it goes till 100 years, because as I told you, it will give you a nostalgic feeling. They'll get back to those days. They'll enjoy. They'll see Malini in this little girl. All the grand the Malini in this little girl. So that is how this book is written, and it's such a wonderful book to read. You'll get entertained. You can also entertain your kids through this book. And as she told, it's available in Amazon and also across countries through soft copies. So you can just have a look at it. Just buy, read, and enjoy both the books. Yes, and I'm sure getting your book.
Okay, great. I'm so happy. I'm going to get your book for my nieces and nephews as well. I don't have any kids in that age group.
Thank you so much.
So I'm going to get it for my nieces and nephews. Oh, Being Turia has joined us. She's also a fellow author from the Right Order. In fact, we did an IG live 3 weeks ago. How are you doing? I hope your book is doing really well.
Hi.
This is Darshini.
Hi. Turia. Her name is Turia, right?
That's her pen name. Yes. Her pen name is Turia.
Hi, Turia. Hi. I'm Darshini here.
Yes. So it's great. Maybe sometime we should do a collective of more authors together. But this one-on-one was amazing. Once again, thank you, the entire audience, for joining us on this special IG live.
Nice talking to you, talking to a person who has the same wavelength kind of thought. Yes. So very happy, and happy that I've shared my book, and also I've got inputs about your book. It's really so good. You read a passage, right? Seriously, it has provoked my curiosity of what next. So for sure, I'll just have a look at this book for sure. And thank you so much for having me, Bhargavi. Thanks a lot. Means a lot.
Absolutely. And thank you for giving such a wonderful feedback. You made my night. Now I'm going to go to bed and sleep with such a big smile on my face. So thank you. Thank you very much. And Malini and the Car Festival, I'm going to get it for all the little kids of our family and the grandparents who are going to relive their childhood through this for sure.
I'd be really so delighted to hear it from you.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone. Thanks again for joining us. You can watch this recorded session on both our pages very shortly as well.
Thank you so much, guys. Thanks a lot.
All right.
Thank you.
See you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.